I don't think letting this thing remain in the purgatory of, financial overhang has really helped out the economy at all. And we can keep going this way and insisting that we don't help our neighbors out, or we can take some positive action. I think the administration has not done a good job in terms of creating some programs that would unstick the housing market. But this is where we are. We're right where I believe Rick's policies would lead us to.
No, we're right where your policies led us to, because we still have a Fed that thinks it's a wonderful idea to try to boost risk in the world by keeping too much liquidity, rates too low.
Why too much, Rick? Too much based on what?
MF is going to ultimately be a poster child for the types of cures the Fed wants.
Are you kidding me?
Absolutely. You think they would have taken those risks if capital was appropriately priced? You have people doing horrible things to try to garner a return at a time where it's impossible to get one because the government floods markets with phony money, phony liquidity. That's right. You know what? How much do you think it would cost for you, if you ran a business, to lend to an unknown person to borrow for 30 years to buy a house? 4%? Ha!
Well, it depends on what the real return is, Rick. And I think the issue is that the best you can do in this market with absolutely no lending going on, with the private market shut down, is do your best.
There's no lending because the government and your folks have screwed the entire economic process up by blaming capitalism instead of blaming themselves for things like the Affordable Housing Act, which have come back to bite us, to listen to Barney Frank be on debates talking about laughing at various... I love it too.
Nobody on Wall Street made any mistakes. It's like the immaculate financial crisis. Nothing ever happened.
They created the paper that the Freddies, Fannies, and the GSEs put on the menu.
Right behind the whole thing.
And they were in the kitchen cooking up the slop. You're right.
This is quite amazing. This is quite amazing, the way you guys create these fictitious stories to get Wall Street off the hook, because from a dogmatic point of view, Rick, you cannot believe that capitalism would make a mistake.
What fictitious story? What fictitious story, Steve?
You're making up Fannie and Freddie get involved.
Story?
I'm telling you right now. Fannie, first of all, that it's all the government. This is the most...
I didn't say it was all the government. I said the beginning was the Affordable Housing Act, which had a threatening note that institutions were going to be gone into and either sued or for redlining or discriminating in lending. They lowered the bar for standards, and they never looked back. They created the need for crappy sausage that Wall Street was only too happy to start cranking in the system.
It's the other way around, Rick. In fact, Fannie and Freddie get involved in a big way. And that's what this lawsuit shows us in 06 and 07.
Well, my question, I haven't even had a chance to talk yet. I think Steve's already thrown me in when he said those guys.
No, I wasn't throwing you in, Scott.
So my question is, Steve, and honest to God question, because I think that this is a discussion that the country needs to have. Who pays? Who is money out of pocket if we do what you suggest? Is it the government? Is it the 1%?
Well,
is it the banks and their shareholders?
I would suggest the failure to pay means everybody's been out of pocket already. I'm not exactly sure what the right solution is here. Like I said, we had we're in a good position, if you can call it that, back in the 90s, because we took over the banks and then owned the real estate, and then, as Bill Liesman did, a fire sale of the real estate. Right now, some of this stuff has been taken off the books of the banks. I got some notes last time we talked about this. But the idea that these mortgages still sit out there, people are still underwater, and that there's still this argument that we're better off not helping our neighbor.
I don't want to sell it.
That was, Steve, a little bit different situation in that the savings and loans had to be taken over by the FSLIC. So there was actually a mechanism for that to happen. You dump it all into Resolution Trust, and then Bill Liesman did a wonderful job. But if you're going to do what you suggest, somebody's balance sheet is going to take a hit the day that it happens. Is that the banks? Is it the governments? Is it the feds? Is it the Chinese? Who takes the hit?
I think the best we can do, Scott, is a hit that takes as many stakeholders, gives them all a hit. I think it's the best way. But a sharing of principal reduction between the mortgage holder, the borrower, and some of the outside creditors as well.
How about a guy like me, current on his mortgage, borrowed less money than
I know what you're saying, Scott, and I got a lot of sympathy for your argument and Rick's as well.
You write down my mortgage.
But how long are we going to sit here like this? How long are we going to sit here and stand on principle? Okay.
We got lots of
so
time.
Rick, you
Lots
can't
of
have it both
Novembers.
ways, Rick.
And for
You
people
can't-
who are out of a job, that is the question because they need a. They
You know
don't
what,
want a
Steve?
fix. They
Bad
need a
things
fix
happen to
tomorrow.
good people.
But the point
That's
is,
I know,
life.
Rick. I know,
That's
Rick.
the way it is.
I know.
That's life.
But how long
Wake
can
up.
we sit?
Can't fix
I'm
everything
awake.
for everybody,
Just barely,
Steve.
but I'm
The
awake.
government has no money. It's other people's money, and they want to take it, and they want to put it into their plans that don't work.
Music's playing.
But my
Music's
point,
playing.
Steve, is we would have been better off with the right solution in
Let the
1985 and
banks go down, pull out
1990.
their
We'd be
inventory,
better
we'd
off
have been
now,
done.
and I don't
But
think
no,
what
you
you're
saved the
suggesting
banks.
is the
Now
right
you wanna
solution
make 'em
for
do
10 years
things
from
with
now.
other
But we sit
people's
here
money.
with
You
several
should've let
million
'em
people
burn.
still underwater, and we're still waiting for all of this to
From
work itself
Russia
out.
with love. From Russia with love.
That's really intelligent commentary, Rick.
All right.
Once
It
again.
is.
Very intelligent.
I
Are
only
you
had to ask
throwing me
you a
in with
question.
Rick again? Am I one of those guys? Yeah, Rick last week asked if I wanted to be his vice president if he runs for president. Thing is, I'm not certain that two traitors, two guys from Chicago, are going to get elected.
Well, I can tell you who's not going to be Treasury Secretary. That's all I know. Anyway, thanks to Rick, Stephen, Scott, and Nathan. I was thinking about it as I sort of set that up. Like WWE, that's totally contrived. This is not.